All right, so we're diving into medical goods specialized seller interviews today, getting you prepped using RoleCatcher's career guides and AI.
Yeah, it's a really interesting field. I mean, you're not just selling products, you're a key part of healthcare.
Absolutely, you're that link between the doctors and the patients, making sure that the medication's used correctly and safely.
Right. You're ensuring the right dosage,
Yes.
clear instructions, the right medication. So yeah, it is a lot of responsibility, but it can be really rewarding too.
Definitely. So let's get a good picture of this role before we get to the interview questions.
Sure.
What does a medical goods specialized seller actually do?
Okay, so they dispense medication, they advise patients on how to use it safely and correctly, and most importantly, they ensure patient safety. That's critical, making sure they get the right medication, the right dosage, and clear instructions.
Okay, so that makes sense. Now, where does all this take place? What kind of work environment are we looking at?
Well, it can vary. You're looking at pharmacies, hospitals, sometimes clinics, and it can be pretty fast-paced.
Yeah.
You're going to be on your feet a lot, interacting with patients, doctors, pharmacists. It's a really dynamic environment.
Sounds like it. Okay, so let's jump into some interview questions.
All right.
What are some of the common ones you might encounter?
Well, the first one you'll almost definitely get is, what inspired you to pursue a career in medical goods sales?
Okay, so this is where you want to show them that you're passionate about this field. You want to dig deeper than just saying you want to help people. Was there a personal experience that made you interested in this? Are you fascinated by the science behind the medications? Try to think about something more specific.
Yeah, and RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you out here. It analyzes the job description, and it picks out keywords that you can work into your answer to show that you're a good fit.
Oh, that's handy. Okay, what's another common question?
Let's see. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in the pharmaceutical industry?
Oh, this is a good one. This industry changes so fast, you need to show them that you're committed to keeping up. So don't just say that you read industry journals. Name some specific publications, like the Journal of the American Pharmacists Association,
Right.
or talk about going to conferences, like the American Society of Health System Pharmacists mid-year clinical meeting. Be specific.
Yeah, specificity is key.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question that tests how organized you are. How do you prioritize your sales targets and manage your time effectively?
Ah, yes. Medical goods sales means juggling lots of tasks. So being able to prioritize and manage your time is super important.
Exactly.
So for this one, it helps to have a system. Do you use a planner, a certain app?
Right.
Explain your process.
Yeah.
Maybe you break down big targets into smaller steps, or use time blocking.
And RoleCatcher's AI can give you feedback on how you explain this.
Really?
You can practice your answer and get insights on things like your pacing, your body language, even your tone of voice.
Well, that's like having a personal coach in your pocket. Okay, let's move on to a question about building relationships. How about describe your approach to building relationships with customers?
Okay, so remember, in this role, trust is everything. You're dealing with people's health. So being able to connect with them on a personal level is super important.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Think about a time you went above and beyond for a customer. Did you take extra time to explain something complicated? Did you go out of your way to find a certain product for them? Those examples show that you're really invested in those relationships.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's look at a question that might be a bit tricky. How do you handle objections or challenges from customers?
Oh,
Because let's face it, you will have customers who are hesitant or have concerns.
right. And this is where your problem-solving skills really come in.
Exactly.
So think about a specific time you had a challenge with a customer. What happened? How did you deal with it? Did you really listen to their concerns? Did you offer other solutions? Walking the interviewer through that shows that you can stay calm, think critically, and find a solution.
And it's not just about finding any solution. It's about finding one that works for everyone. A win-win.
Exactly. Now, building on that customer-focused approach, here's another question. Can you describe a time when you had to adapt your selling approach to meet the needs of a specific customer?
Right? Because everyone's different. What works for one person might not work for another. So this is about showing you can be flexible, that you can adapt. So think about a time you had to tailor your approach. Maybe you had to simplify things for someone who was feeling overwhelmed, or when you did some extra research for someone who wanted to know more.
Right. These situations show that you're willing to go the extra mile and really understand each customer's needs. It shows you're not just trying to sell something, but that you want to give them a good experience.
Okay, ready for another one?
Yeah, hit me.
All right, this one's about teamwork.
Yeah.
How do you collaborate with other departments, such as marketing or operations, to ensure that sales goals are met?
Hmm.
You're not working in isolation.
Right.
Being able to collaborate effectively is so important in any sales environment.
Especially in a field as complex as medical goods.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about times you've worked with other teams. Did you communicate updates, participate in strategy sessions, offer help to colleagues, things like that.
Yeah, highlighting those times shows that you're a team player, someone who wants to see the whole organization succeed, not just focused on your own goals.
Exactly. Okay, here's one that looks at your leadership potential. How do you motivate and develop your sales team? Now, you might not be in a leadership role right now, but showing you can inspire and guide others is really valuable.
That's true. So think about your leadership style. Do you lead by example? Do you focus on clear communication and feedback? Even sharing examples of how you've motivated or mentored people informally can show those leadership qualities.
Yeah, and remember, good leaders are always learning too. So highlight how committed you are to continuous learning and development, both for yourself and the people you lead.
Makes sense. Okay, last question for this part, and it's a big one. Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision related to sales strategy or operations? This is all about showing your decision-making skills and your ability to think strategically.
Right, so choose a situation that shows how you think analytically and your ability to weigh different options and what might happen. What did you have to consider? How did you get others involved in making the decision? And what was the result?
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a big help. It can analyze the company's values and culture and give you some insight into what they're looking for in terms of decision-making, so you can tailor your answer to fit their expectations.
That's the power of being prepared and using the right tools. Now, before we move on, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, the importance of always learning in this field.
Oh yeah, that's so
The
important.
pharmaceutical industry is always changing. New drugs and treatments are always coming out. It's not just about knowing the latest stuff. It's about giving your customers the best possible care. And those resources we talked about, industry journals, conferences, online courses, those are your best friends.
They really are. We've covered a lot in this first part, but we've got more to come. So stay tuned for part 2, where we'll look at even more interview questions, dive deeper into career advancement, and really break down how RoleCatcher's AI can help you succeed in your interview.
It's going to be good. Welcome back to our deep dive. We left off talking about some of those tricky interview questions, the ones that make you sweat a little, but don't worry, you're doing great. We're going to tackle another one. So it's a classic, what are your greatest strengths as a medical goods specialized seller?
Okay. Yeah, this one is a chance to show off a little, but remember, be strategic. Don't just list your strengths. You got to connect them to the actual job.
Yeah.
So think back to what we've talked about so far. Deep knowledge of the medications, being a clear communicator, building those relationships with customers, and solving problems under pressure. Those are some big ones. So which of those really resonate with you, and how have you actually used them in real-life situations?
Right. Give them those real-life examples. Those are gold.
Exactly. Now, for the flip side of strengths, everyone's favorite question, what is your greatest weakness?
Oh, yeah, this one.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But honesty is key here. Nobody's perfect. The interviewer knows that trying to disguise a strength as a weakness, it's so obvious.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Nope. So instead, choose something you're genuinely trying to improve on. Maybe you're a little too detail-oriented sometimes, but you're working on delegating more, or maybe public speaking makes you nervous, but you're taking steps to get better at presentations.
Yeah, it's all about showing that you're self-aware and that you're willing to grow.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about something that can be a little awkward, the salary question.
Oh, yeah, they're going to ask, what are your salary expectations?
Yep. So do your research before the interview. Sites like Glassdoor or Salary.com can give you an idea of what's typical for similar jobs in your area.
Having that info makes you feel so much more prepared.
Absolutely. And remember, it's okay to give them a range, not a specific number, that gives you some wiggle room for negotiation.
Good point.
Now, speaking of negotiation, be ready for questions like, why should we hire you? Or what makes you stand out from other candidates? This is your closing argument. Your chance to really seal the deal.
Right, you got to leave them with a strong impression. So what unique skills and experiences do you bring to the table? Think about your past accomplishments, those times you went above and beyond. How do those things connect with what this particular company is looking for?
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can really come in handy. It can actually analyze the job description and help you pinpoint the parts of your experience that are most relevant.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, right? It's like having a personal tailor for your interview answers.
I love that.
Okay, so towards the end of the interview, they're probably going to give you a chance to ask some questions. Don't waste this opportunity. It's your chance to show them you're really interested and to get some valuable info about the company and the role.
Right, don't ask those generic questions. They
Yeah,
can just Google the answers.
it's exactly.
Ask thoughtful questions that show you've done your homework. You could ask about their company culture, their plans for growth, or even the specific challenges of the job.
Yeah, asking insightful questions not only shows that you're curious and engaged, but it also helps you figure out if this job is the right fit for you.
Okay, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about career advancement. Where can this role take you in the long term?
That's a good question. So, starting out hands-on experience is key, maybe internships or part-time jobs in pharmacies. While you're studying from there, you could become a pharmacy manager, maybe move into research and development, or even explore teaching.
And there are also certifications to consider, like the Certified Pharmacy Technician, the CPHT, or the Certified Medical Representative, the CMR. Those can definitely make you stand out and open doors to more specialized roles.
Absolutely. It's a field where continuous learning and professional development can really pay off. And speaking of professional development, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI tools for a minute. Yes, those tools can be a game changer, especially when it comes to practicing your interview skills. Imagine this. You record yourself answering practice questions, and RoleCatcher's AI analyzes your delivery. It gives you feedback on everything from your body language to your tone of voice. It's like having a personal coach, but without the awkward eye contact.
It can be really helpful for noticing those little things you might not even be aware of. Maybe you talk too fast when you get nervous, or your posture could be more confident. The AI picks up on those things and helps you come across as confident and professional.
So you're not just memorizing answers. You're actually practicing how to deliver them in a way that makes a real impact. You're going beyond being prepared. You're becoming a truly impressive candidate. Okay, welcome back. We've talked a lot about this medical goods specialized seller interview, but we've saved some of the best stuff for last.
We've covered understanding the role, nailing those common questions, and even thinking about where this job can take you. But now let's focus on making your answers even better.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI tools come in. We mentioned about before, but let's really break down how they can help you.
Okay, so picture this. You've got this job description, and it's full of industry jargon and specific requirements. It can be tough to know what to focus on. But RoleCatcher's AI is like a super smart filter. It goes through that job description, pulls out the keywords, and tells you exactly what the hiring manager is looking for.
So it's like a cheat sheet, but one that's made just for you for each job.
Exactly. No more generic answers.
I like it.
And it gets even better. Once you know those keywords, the AI helps you work them into your answers naturally. It suggests phrases, even specific examples from your experience that match what the company wants.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. You can practice answering questions out loud, record yourself, and RoleCatcher's AI will give you feedback on how you sound. It's like having a virtual interview coach.
It really is. It looks at your pacing, your tone of voice, even your body language. And it gives you tips on how to improve.
So maybe you fidget when you're nervous, or your voice gets higher. The AI can pick up on those things.
Exactly, and it helps you sound more confident and professional.
Okay, so you're not just memorizing answers, you're actually practicing how to deliver them in a way that's impactful. You're not just prepared, you're becoming a really strong candidate.
Right. Now let's talk about something that often comes up in interviews, the pros and cons of the job. It's a way for interviewers to see how realistic you are about what the job is like.
So let's be honest. What are some of the not-so-great parts of being a medical goods specialized seller?
Well, it can be demanding both physically and emotionally. You're on your feet a lot, you're dealing with sensitive situations, and sometimes you have to deal with difficult customers. The workload can be heavy, especially during busy times or if they're short-staffed.
Okay, so it's important to acknowledge those challenges,
Yeah.
but let's not forget about the amazing rewards.
Oh, absolutely. This is a career where you can really make a difference in people's lives. You're helping them manage their health, understand their medications, and navigate a complicated healthcare system. It's really satisfying knowing you're playing such an important role in their well-being.
And you can't forget about the job security. As the population gets older, the need for healthcare grows, and that means more demand for skilled medical goods specialized sellers. It's a field with great job security and potential for growth.
It is. So even though there are challenges, the impact you make and the career opportunities really make it a rewarding path.
All right, before we wrap up, let's do a few more practice questions just to get you thinking. Remember, think about those keywords and examples we talked about. Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, first one. Tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a customer.
Okay, so this is where you show how dedicated you are and how much you care about your customers. Think of a time when you exceeded expectations. Maybe you found a product that was hard to get. Or Spend extra time explaining a complicated dosage.
Okay, next one. How do you stay informed about new medications and industry updates?
This is where you talk about your commitment to always learning. Mention those specific journals, conferences, online resources. Show them you're always learning new things.
Okay, last one. Describe a time you had to deal with a difficult customer. How did you handle the situation?
All right, so here you show off your problem-solving skills and how professional you are. Walk them through what happened, how you listened, stayed calm, and found a solution that worked for the customer and followed company rules.
Awesome. We've covered so much in this deep dive. You're now equipped with the knowledge and tools to ace that medical goods specialized seller interview.
Remember, preparation is key. Understand the role, practice your answers, and use those RoleCatcher AI tools to really refine your approach.
And most importantly, go in there with confidence knowing you've got this. Good luck.